Okay. And again. This time I've cycled out a few miles before I started, partly because this is a bit longer. It's 16-mile route, so because it was about a 10. And I've got limited battery life and only got a 32 gig SD card, which gives me about an hour. So that being the case, I thought I'll start a little bit later. And on the other rides, I've covered some of this, not this ground, the ground I've just covered before. So a couple of good reasons for starting a bit later. And this place is called Aspley Heath. Kind of a little village right in the middle of Birmingham and Redditch. Now today, judging by the noise rushing past my ears, which is the wind, there's quite a lot of it about. And I have to, what I could probably do with doing is getting a cover for the mic so you stop the wind noise. But it's early days with this, and I am trying things out. So I can hear a lot of noise now, lots of wind noise rushing past my ears. So I'll come a bit closer to the mic. Oh, you can hang up. Can't. This is why people need to drive carefully down these lanes. That person was doing. So yeah, lots of wind noise rushing past my ears, and I expect that will muffle me on the microphone. Although, obviously, I don't know that. So again, we're in another one of those kind of dark green, damp, luscious sort of lanes in the area. And today, can't remember, I don't think I just told you this, we're going to Ullenhall, which is not very far from Henley in Arden. And if you don't know the area, this is William Shakespeare country, which is obviously a great big tourist industry, you know, as you'd expect. But we are in, I suppose, what was the Forest of Arden. So off to our left is Tamworth in Arden. Now, I think the temperature today is probably about 20 degrees. So it's getting hot, but it's not too bad. I've got an itch on my helmet, excuse me, missus, which I can't scratch. I got it. So yeah, the weather's picking up now. I've been in much hotter than this, cycling with a lot of weight. Yeah, fellow cyclist. And the key to surviving in it, you know, surviving as in keeping going and surviving, literally surviving in it, is water or liquid. Because you sweat like buggery, obviously on days, you know, hot days, I'm talking like 30 degrees, not 20. and you need to replace that fluid. If you replace that fluid, you sweat it all out again fairly quickly, but as long as you keep putting it back in, you know your body's alright. It's if you run out of liquid that you really are in trouble. So again, so this is something that I didn't learn the hard way. It's something that I learned through listening to those who know better than me, which is something that a lot of people do well to do in these COVID times. Everyone's an expert these days, except the real experts who are treated like idiots. But anyway, lovely lanes these are. Can't see round what's coming though, that's the only thing that worries me. And I think this is a fairly steep drop coming up, and we go past a farm. Look at that. Look at that view. Lovely. Lovely. Anyway, here we go. Down the drop, no pedalling. Whee! Whee! Down there. Now, one of the problems with going past farms like that on days like this is you get the obvious smell of the manure, you know, which is the smell of the countryside. Quite like it, but the flies, they bash into your face. And one advantage of wearing glasses, I have swallowed a couple of flies. Not today though, but what I found is that the last one that I swallowed was when we were, there we go again with the cart. We were down on the south coast, I think it was the south coast. And we're on the Isle of Wight, yeah, we're on the Isle of Wight. And we're coming back towards there, minding my own business, cycling down this coastal path thing, and suddenly, without warning, splat, boom, back of my mouth, gone, down, gone. Oh, I felt sick for ages afterwards. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was psychological, because I wasn't sick in the end, fortunately, but ooh, not nice. Quickly pull in and lift the bike up here. This is where we are. It's beautiful. I don't know whether I like it so much because this is where I'm from, England, you know. I'm not a nationalist or any of that crap, but I was born in England. And it's a place I know best. And I do love it. But they talk about England's green and pleasant lands, and that's what I always think to myself. That's that Jerusalem hymn. Well, it should be rewritten too, and did those bike wheels in ancient times, obviously before they invented bicycles, but you know, you never know. Did they ride upon England's mountains? Green, I think it is. Anyway, I think you get the gist. Verdant, I think the word is. Now, I was speaking to one of my students, a guy called Robbie from Scotland. This is at my London job. I'm working at 2 universities. And Robbie's a cyclist. And I've been to Scotland, and obviously there's big hills and mountains all over. And he said that England is a harder place to cycle than Scotland, because he says in Scotland you get a big hill, it's a small gradient, takes you ages to get up there. He says in England, up and down all the way. Again, my excuse for having a rest. Don't know what those crops are. And this building is a nursing home, which I've seen quite a lot of in recent years. Not that one. But I was the main carer stroke point of contact for my mum, who had dementia, and she had to go into a home. And when I say had to, she had to go into a home. And she had a form of dementia called dementia with Lewy bodies, which is related to Parkinson's disease. Apparently it's the same underlying process. When I say apparently, I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about. This is stuff I've read. So I know when I've looked at the videos that I've done before, I say apparently quite a lot. I say you know quite a lot as well, even though you probably don't know, you know. Anyway, mother had dementia with Lewy bodies, which is related to Parkinson's disease. It's kind of like Parkinson's in reverse. They get the dementia first, and if they live long enough, they end up with the Parkinson's symptoms. And it was a nightmare. She was hallucinating. She thought I was trying to kill her. She thought people in cars were staring at her. Oh, she was running away and she didn't know what she was doing. She was like doing things like lighting the gas on the cooker, but not actually lighting it, just turning it on. Not eating for days on end. Pooing on the floor, you name it. So I had to deal with a lot of that, and then it became too much. I couldn't keep her safe. It was impossible to keep her safe. This is Ullenhall. I think he's lost his gears. This is the most southerly point. So in the end, she had to go into a nursing home for her own safety and my safety, really. was old farm machinery there. Anyway, one of the very many things that I've learned from looking after my mum, and I learned a lot, and it changed me as a person in some ways, not fundamentally, but you know, you see the things I saw with your own mother, which I know when I speak to other people whose parents have had dementia, you know, we all know. And yeah, but one of the things I learned, or really appreciate, is the carers who work in care homes, looking after people, dealing with all kinds of stuff. Morning. That's nice. And these people, they're paid minimum wage. Quite a lot of them are immigrants. Slip the car past. These are funerals. And they are true angels. The real thing. Doing jobs that you wouldn't wish on anyone. Ridiculous. Morning. So yeah, yeah, we need to appreciate people. And I've said I'm English, I am English, but I'm not a nationalist. I'm not a racist. You know, if you say you're English, you have to defend yourself against these things, which pisses me off. But I am English, born and bred, and we need to welcome these people and pay them more, for God's sake, and take it out of the private sector. That's what we need to do. Climbing. One benefit of climbing and going more slowly is that I'm not getting the wind rushing past my ears. Nearly there. It starts to get hot. Now I brought some juice with me. Get my camera, I'm going to turn it round. Hunter's Moon. As well. See it there. And down again. bird trying to escape from me. I think I'm going to stop and have a drink on top of this hill, which I know the area quite well, so I know it's just up here. That woman was on the phone in her car. Tut tut. Talking of cars, mine has now got an MOT. So I've now got 4 brand new tyres, new shock absorber, welding done. Headlights, the glass have gone opaque and they've cleaned that up for me. And more dampness. This railway line here goes between Birmingham and Stratford upon Avon. But I'll tell you in a moment, just slow down. And once this car's gone past. But I know people who run the garage. Both of my brothers have worked there in the past, and obviously my older brother Tone has he's worked there longer than my younger brother. Kind of like we go down in sensibleness, starting from Tone. Starting with Tone first, the most sensible. Then me, arguably, the next sensible one. Arguably not, if you know me. Then my younger brother Andy, who's lives his own unique lifestyle. No, not in a bad way, but he's never conformed. And he was a bit naughty when he was younger, but you know, nothing serious. And so the garage in question is called Plume Tyres in Shirley. Plume as in feathers. That's it's next door to the Plume of Feathers pub. And because I know, you know, the inside track, as it were, I know that the guy who does the MOTs is as straight as they come, which is great. So I know that my car has got a proper MOT. Pig Trot Lane. I don't know what all this white stuff is. Let's have a look. amazing. Strange. So yeah, so I took it to Plume. It failed the first time, rightly so. They've done the work for me at a good price, and they have done it at a good price. I'm not saying that. And you know, I'm happy as Larry. Although I don't know who Larry is or how happy he is, but I'm as happy as him anyway. Oh, hey, that was a bit wobbly. There's a bit more of a climb coming up here. Proper climb, 12% I think. Short and sharp. Cheers. Short and sharp, almost. I should be standing on the pedals in a minute. I think this is the steepest, well it is the steepest hill, I think. I know it's pretty steep, but it is short. So it's heart rate going up through the roof again. Hoping it doesn't pack up on me. Down the gears. 7.9 miles an hour, 6.6. Heart rate 151, 152. Here we go. This is the climb. I'm now standing up. Heart rate 168 and 169 and rest. Heart rate still 169 and going down. I've had a heart rate monitor for ages, and when I first got a GPS enabled cycle computer, it came with a heart rate monitor. Ooh, that's interesting, I'll give that a go. And ever since then I thought it was kind of like a novelty thing, but I was cycling to work the one morning chatting to this bloke, and I said I've got a heart rate monitor, you know. Bit of a gimmick really. He says, no, he says, I'm an eye surgeon. He says, I worked at Aston University, it turned out. He said, no, he said, a really sensible idea, you know. So that kind of cemented it in my mind. Talking of listening to people who know more than me. And I've either got an inquisitive mind or too much time on my hands. I think it's probably the latter. I end up going on Google and looking it all up and working out, you know, what my heart rate is and what the zones are and what my lactic threshold is and all this stuff. I mean, I don't use it. I just like think, oh, it's interesting, and then forget it, you know, kind of. And then go out and pedal, which is of course what it's really about for me. Well, not pedalling, going out. So my heart rate's 145 at the moment. I'm about to climb again a little bit. I mean, I hope this isn't famous last words, and if it is, the last's going to be on me. But I think I've got a fairly good heart. Because it's one thing I stopped smoking a long time ago, 1998, which is the best thing I ever did, undoubtedly. Hardest thing I ever did, but you know, it was worth it. Every painful, gasping second, it was worth it. And since then, well, I've always kept myself fairly fit. If you can be fit while you smoke. But since then, I got into a lot more into the long distance cycling. It was kind of starting around then, and kept myself fit for various reasons. And I'm getting older, 54, 55 in November, so about 4 months or so. So I don't smoke. I'm not really in any sense a drinker. It makes me ill. And it's just social, which has gone out the window at the moment, so I've hardly drunk anything over the past 18 months at all. Hardly anything at all. And I look at people around of my own age and younger, and they don't look very good to me. And one of my friends described cycling as the elixir of life, and he's not a cyclist, he's talking about other people. There is obviously a risk of getting killed, but there's a risk of getting killed in anything you do. In fact, I think you're more likely to get killed walking than you are cycling. So, definitely stood me in good stead. Not two ways about that one. And it's helped me through depression, which I've had quite a lot of. Stress, depression, looking after my mum was one of the things. It was a nightmare, and I was under the most immense stress imaginable for a long period of time. You know, really extreme stress, the kind that kills people. I mean, the thing I kept doing all the way through that was cycling, and it's my genuine belief that has saved my life more than lightly, because it helped to get rid of some of the stress. It was a safety valve kind of thing. And you hear all this about endorphins with exercise and stuff, so anyway, enough about me. This place here, it's called, you can see that, Aspley Hall. Which is very grand, obviously. And I don't know the history of it. I think it's apartments now. But look in the other direction. You've got this straight road there, or track, and that goes from here in a straight line to Tamworth in Arden, which is somewhere I cycled through the other day. Saw him earlier. I think that noise is squirrels, because I've got a lot of squirrels outside the back of where I live now. Now, in the past, in the previous place, we had cats, so the only birds and squirrels I saw were dead ones that the cats brought in. You know, obviously they kept birds and squirrels, the surviving ones, kept a big distance, but now I can sit in the room, look out the window, and I've got a fence, trees, a lot, you know, and they're all there. And they know I'm there as well. And at first they used to make that noise and stand on the fence and flick their tails and make that noise. And now that they're used to me, they just sit on the fence and look at me, as if to say like, yeah, I don't care, which is good. So I chuck them pistachio nuts and stuff like that, which I looked at first to make sure that they could eat. And I threw these pistachios around and over the fence. 5 minutes later, the squirrel's up there on top of the fence eating one, looking at me. And in my anthropomorphic worldview, I think he's saying thank you. Probably isn't, but you know, I'll say you know again. Bit of a busy road now, B401. Nice woodland on the left. See that? That's the kind of place I'd be looking to camp if I got nowhere to camp. Yeah, it's warming up now, it's definite up. Idiots, so fucking idiots. I know, take it all back, take it all back. Yeah, no, take it all back. I thought they were overtaking the learner. I'm about to shoot at me at 60 miles an hour, but in fact they're actually overtaking the cyclist correctly. So I apologise all offended motorists, of which I am now one, as you know, again. So I'll apologise to myself. Sorry me, that's alright. Turn off this road, which I'll be very glad about. I think we're having another drink as well. Pull over to let this wagon do its thing past this cyclist. Might as well do it now. Wait for the cars to go. And I'm not talking about the clothes. M42. In fact, I'm going to sort the camera out while I'm here. Am I glad I'm not stuck in that traffic? Although if I was going somewhere, it'd be different, but even I've driven about 50 miles in my car since I've had it MOT'd, and it's just not the same. It's nice, it's useful. I went shopping yesterday, brought home 4 massive bags, which, okay, I can do that on my bike, and have done lots of times with 2 great big pannier bags on the back. But all the same, it was nice just to, you know, pull up at the shop, park up, fill my bags, chuck it in the car, drive back, brilliant. It's alright, don't worry. And round the corner. Whee! And we're off again. 20 miles an hour. 21 miles an hour. Which is about as good as it gets for me on a road like this. On a bike like this, I'm much slower on my other bike. I've had this particular bike since I think 2014, and it's a Specialised, that's the make, and they make the Tour de France bikes. They're that kind of manufacturer, you know, proper. But this is the absolute bottom of the range, and I bought it in January 2014, and it's a 2013 model that they were selling off, as they do when they get rid of them in the, you know, in the winter, get ready for the next year's model. And so I bought this bike, aluminium frame, carbon forks, admittedly, and I've used it, but not massively. I've always wanted to keep it in good condition. And the other thing is, up until recently, it's had no lights and no mud guards. As you can see, I've got a nice front light on it, which is fantastic. I'm going to try it coming out on it at night with my camera. But not like bike lights when I was a kid. You know, you have to be like standing 3 feet in front of it before you even saw it. And never mind cyclists seeing the road, no chance. These things light the road up properly. And the other thing I've done recently is put a rack on it so I can sling the bag on. And I can actually use it to go shopping with, but I'm a bit wary about that. So, and the thing with this bike is it's a lot faster than the other one, much faster. But you think you get less exercise because it goes faster. You'd have to put as much effort in, but what it does with me is it makes me push harder and go faster, and so I actually get more exercise. And my other bike at the moment, I've lent it to one of my friends because he walked over to see me, and then he couldn't get a bus back and all the rest of it. So he had to take the bike. I've got another one, and he's had that since then, and I've been using this. And I can feel myself getting fitter already.